In this video, we're diving into some of Joey Diaz's wildest stories from his appearance on Flagrant, starting with the time he claims he sold cocaine to none other than Whitney Houston.
Did I hear that you supplied coke to Whitney Houston?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Can you tell us anything more about that? Because that's an insane footnote.
It was like the weirdest fucking story ever. I used to buy weed from a guy. Mm-hmm. Every week I go over there. This is before legal marijuana and shit.
Yeah.
He knew I did coke. And he would ask me, hey, man, I got a client that could really use your help. But I already knew, like, whenever somebody comes up to you and says, I have something for you like that, it sounds good, but it could be a cop.
Yeah.
It could be 1,000 things. So I just brushed him off, nah, I'm okay. And finally one day he's like, listen, my friend really needs help. He's a tour manager and his client really needs this coke. Can you at least meet with him and talk to him? He'll pay you top dollar. And I'm like, okay. And I met with the guy, and then in the conversation, he goes, I could buy like an ounce of coke from you every day. I'm like, okay. But I'm doing time. If I get into, I was already into comedy already, And I'm like, I don't want to do time now for coke. Let's give it a run. I go, how about I sell you a half ounce to start off with? Mm-hmm. And it started small. After about 3 weeks, I would go, because he was coming every other fucking day for a half ounce of coke. And finally I go, what the fuck, guy? What do you do? And he's like, I'm Whitney Houston's tour manager.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Whitney Cummings.
No, they're here. They're here. I didn't even know Whitney did blow. They're here. They're here doing an album, her and Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
So they were getting after it.
They were going after it. But I never saw her. Like, I would love to tell you I partied with them, and no, that was bullshit. I never saw them. Then I didn't, they were there from like, I don't know, maybe November, and then like when is the Grammys? February, something like that.
February?
In February, it was the Grammys. And I'm like, these motherfuckers have been calling me every day for the Grammys. What are they gonna do? They were gonna want half of Columbia. And I'll never forget that Grammy weekend, I was hosting at the store, and I went to the bathroom, and Tom Cruise was in the bathroom. And he looked at me and he goes, you're pretty funny out there. Something about short came out, like in the bathroom. He was pretty short.
Yeah.
He was in there with his wife at the time, the redhead.
Oh,
they were at the House of Blues for an Oscar party, a Grammy party. And I remember that night I went home, and I'm like, wow, the Grammys, these motherfuckers didn't call me all weekend. I went home, and the next morning at 7 o'clock, my page is going off. And it's the manager. And he goes, hey, man, sorry we didn't get a hold of you. We've been busy. Can you get us something this morning? It was 7 in the fucking morning.
Wow.
I'm like, God damn. Okay. I called the Martel Cartel. That's where I got my coke from, the Martel Cartel. And they're like, come over. It's 7 in the morning. And at this time, he was still buying like a half ounce, and sometimes he would buy an extra 8. And I was putting a little bit of cut in it, making money off the coke, and I'd take a gram out of the shit, Well, that morning, they wanted like fucking an ounce and a half. And they came to my house, and that was the only time I saw Whitney.
Oh, wow.
Oh, she actually showed up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was very sweet, very nice. I didn't do coke with them. I love to tell you I was there with Bobby Brown. They were, and I sold them the coke, and that's the last time I ever saw them.
This is 1990, you said? 93?
No. I was living with my wife already, so it had to be like late 90s, early 2000s.
Wow.
And that was the
Preacher's
last.
wife. Isn't that crazy?
Why would she show up?
Because they were out the night before. I could tell you.
They didn't even go home.
They never slept.
No, I could tell you more of the story, which I will when the cameras aren't on, where they were coming from, whose house they were coming from that night.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
And who else is in the car.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty like, wow.
Next, Joey Diaz breaks down how he became the king of a Colorado prison, running things on the inside with pure charisma, chaos, and street smarts.
When you were in prison, what crew did you roll with? Like, what was your car?
There was really no crews at that time. You had the brothers, the biggest problem I had was navigating around the Bloods and the Crips because I worked in the kitchen.
Now, is it easier to navigate that when you have a kitchen job?
In 1987, I didn't even know the Blood and the Crip were. So I get
we
sent
didn't
to
have
prison.
anything back east. And
No.
The Bloods and Crips were just starting in like the
starting.
late 70s.
So
Yeah.
when I got into where you go, the first day you get there and the counselor's like, have you ever had hepatitis B? I'm like, no. And it's like,
Obviously.
Fine, you're working in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So they put me in the kitchen. The dude was big, Mr. Yarborough, big brother out of the Navy, Korean Navy guy. And he's like, Mr. Diaz, you look Italian, so I'm going to make you a baker. Have you ever baked before? And I'm like, no, I don't even cook. So I went in there the next morning at 4 a.m, and he's like, you put this much on the thing, and then they expand. I'm like, why are you being so cheap, brother? These motherfuckers are living in cells. Give them a big cinnamon muffin. I mean, I didn't know. He's like, you can't make them big. I didn't know why. So I made them big, and they became manhole covers. The oven almost blew up. There was a fire. So he fired me. He made me the stock clerk, which is the best job there. I didn't even know
What's stock clerk?
It's a stock clerk. You order the food for the kitchen, and you have your own facility to hide shit for the other invics because it's so far away, they don't bring the dogs to sniff that shit. And I had a driver's license. So you see those guys that pick papers up on the side of the road? I would bring them lunch in the cart. So I could always go, you going to be here tomorrow? Yeah, I could always go, Andrew Schulz, have your girlfriend drop off an ounce of Coke at garbage stop number 54. You're going to pick it up and put it in the garbage. I'm going to come by to give you lunch. You're going to give it to me. They're not going to search me to go back into the facility. You have no idea how
So you
wide
were getting Coke into the
They had
prison?
everything. I wasn't snorting Coke at all.
No, but getting it in, though.
Yeah, they had Coke in there, heroin. The only thing I was doing in there was acid because they couldn't test for it.
Acid in prison?
Yeah, you get nice bladder acid in prison. I get fucked up every Sunday night. Me and some other guys, we'd sit outside and talk shit and crack jokes they couldn't figure out. And they'd automatically give you a piss test the next day.
Clean?
Because you're out and you're clean.
Whoa.
Did you like prison in the social aspect?
Loved it.
Yeah, I heard
Because you're king, right?
Loved
Like,
it. Yeah.
everybody loves you. You got
Loved
these
it.
amazing stories.
So
you crack.
I'm in the kitchen, and that's the hardest part I had, was the Crips and the Bloods.
Okay.
Because in the kitchen, they kind of got along. But outside the kitchen, they had to maintain their status. And,
Right.
I really dug that. But I was friends with Crips. My best friend was a Crip in there.
Yeah.
I loved this mother.
Yeah.
This guy had 7 girlfriends, each of them with a badass 6-figure car. This guy was in charge of bringing cocaine from California to Colorado for the Crips. This is at this time, this is what he did. What's the chick that went to the Olympics? Joyner in the 80s?
Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Her brother was in there too.
Wow.
He was a Crip or something because he was bringing in coke from, that's when the Crips were bringing in from LA, California, all those little things. So that was the hardest adjustment I had. You had your bikers, like 5 little raggedy bikers. You had your white supremacists, a couple of them. It only had 104 people.
Okay.
Right. So everybody kind of knows everybody small.
So you didn't have that. You had one Italian, and he was the cook.
Of course.
And I partnered up with him to start a bookmaking operation because he couldn't sell lottery tickets to the blacks, the Spanish, but I could. I knew how to talk to the brothers, and I knew how to talk to the Mexicans. So he made me his partner. And every night he would make nachos. He'd get like an iron and put it melted in cheese and fucking get chips and shit. Fucking different world.
So you were having, weirdly, the time of your life.
Yes. Like I got sentenced August 15th.
Yeah.
The system was a year behind. What that meant was...
What does that mean?
The system was a year behind that time. What it meant was you're not getting processed to go to your prison until fucking December or January.
Oh, you're in jail still.
So you're going to sit in county jail. This is why I got off, okay? This is a lot of people don't know. So I got sentenced to 2nd-degree burglary. It cost me. I had to pay a lot of money because I had to hire an investigator to prove there was no violence in my past. Because they wanted to charge me with a violent offense. So that means if I got 9 years for kidnapping, I would do all 9 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I was not going to do that.
Yeah.
So we had to hire an investigator to go back to Jersey and fucking any violence as a kid. Like, yeah, we got into a fist fight with a pizza guy. Shit like that, but nothing extreme that showed this. So my attorney, that was his most important thing, was to get the violent crime changed to a non-violent crime, because that makes a complete big difference. And he did it.
That might be the greatest miracle in the history of the
I still
judicial
talk to that
system.
motherfucker too.
You need to.
He's in Colorado Springs. And now he's got a kid that wants to get into the entertainment business. So he's like, what do we need to do to
Time for some
speed this up? So, hey, man, payback's a bitch. So when I got sentenced to 48 months, right? but I spent a month in county.
Time served.
So that's 2 months.
Oh, you get double time served for county?
County is 2 days. At that time, it was 2 for 1. So I did a month. So that meant I did 2 months. So now it's 22 months I got in there, right? Until you hit prison, your final destination, it's 2 for 1.
Wow.
Then
So the longer you're staying in county, the shorter amount of time you're going to have to spend in prison. I guess this is, the whole idea is expediting your time in county, because county's a pain in the fucking ass.
A pain in the ass,
Okay.
but not bad, because again, I got sentenced on a Monday, and by Wednesday morning, I was taken out. They told me they were going to send me to like Oklahoma. They sent me to fucking Summit County Jail. Guys, we wore our own clothes, and we played handball outside. And at 9 o'clock, the jail, the fucking guards would go to the Safeway for you and buy you chips, sodas, and we'd watch movies all night on TV.
So it was low key and everybody was chill.
Key. And my buddy in there was a guy from the Bronx, Italian dude. Fucking, as soon as I get there, the guy fucking hugged me. I'll do anything for you. Just talk for me, brother. Just talk for me. I haven't been around people from the East Coast. This guy loved me. So I became friends with him, and we were fucking, I didn't drink or anything in there, but we would always like fucking gamble. A lot of gambling in there, you know? I was in Summit County for maybe 2 weeks. That's a month.
Boom. So you're shaving time off.
I'm shaving time off. So now I had 3 months already. All of a sudden one morning, they go, you're going to fucking Department of Corrections. So first you go to DOC. It's like, you go to diagnostic. That's where you're there for 2 weeks, and they find out what's wrong with you. They check everything, your ass, your mind. They ask you creepy questions. They do a battery of tests. And then from how you do on that is where you're decided where your destination is.
So you're trying to do better on that.
Yes.
Because if you look sane, you look competent, you look smart, you're going to get the country club. And if you look like an absolute savage fuck up.
PDX.
But still, I didn't have the numbers. I knew that my numbers were low, because before you get sentenced, you have to take a thing, like a little test, like a 10-question test, nothing hard.
Yeah.
Did you have a job before you got arrested? Did you have a license before you got arrested? Were you working at the time of your arrest? And all these positive things count in your favor. So after I got sentenced, after I went through diagnostic, now they're going to send you to your destination. I had 2 destinations. I could either go to Rifle, Colorado, and that's where I wanted to go, because in the winter, they let you be a ski instructor, not a ski instructor, but a dude on the hill, checking people's badges.
Unbelievable.
And in the summer, you could be a lifeguard at the pool. The job is the pool. So I'm like, what are you fuck? And they let you go to the movies on Saturday night.
Unbelievable.
Golden was where I went, Camp George West. I wanted to go to Golden because it was closer to my house, but they didn't have all the shit Rifle had.
Yeah, you want to ski and go hang by the pool.
But the only thing they had, they let you out for 20 minutes a day to go to the store.
No.
There was a bodega right around the corner.
So you got 20 minutes of freedom.
20 minutes just to run to the store and run back. So I started, come on, dog.
You got to get
Everybody
that.
else couldn't figure it out. I started ordering Chinese food.
To the bodega.
To the bodega. There was a Chinese restaurant next to it. So I would call the order in, because all the other idiots would actually go to bodega, and I go, did you get Chinese food? And they go, no, we don't have time. I'm like, you got to call the order in so when you get there. So I would call the order in, pick up Chinese food, pick up a couple Haagen-Dazs, some ice creams and shit.
So you were a fucking superhero to these guys. You're coming back with ice cream.
A superhero.
Chinese food.
Oh, my God.
And finally, Joey Diaz tells what might be his funniest story yet. The time he accidentally kidnapped a drug dealer in a wild drug-fueled mix-up only he could survive.
So you get arrested for robbing a drug dealer, but you kidnap someone during the robbery, so you get arrested for the kidnapping.
No, I didn't know it was kidnapping. I thought kidnapping was I got to bring you to my house, send your uncle a note, and tell him I got your ear, and give me $250,000. That's what I thought kidnapping was.
Okay, so what was this?
See, the problem was there was no Law and Order. See, when Law and Order came on, now I know everything I could do and can't do. Right? I'm a Law and Order motherfucker, right? Not a Law and Order SVU. I'm not a tree jumper. I'm a Law and Order. I like to steal, do drugs, and fucking whatever. So I didn't know what kidnapping was. So I get to Boulder. I'm trying to get my life together. I join up for classes at the University of Colorado.
Okay.
Now, I'm not at Colorado Mountain College no more. I'm at the University of Colorado with a GED.
Let's go.
No college, no high school diploma. They were like, yeah, we'll give you whatever you want. I'm paying for classes. They're not even doing no background checks.
Yeah.
And one day I'm working and I'm doing coke. And I started selling cars. I was making great money selling cars and doing coke at night and taking 2 classes a week at night. And one day I'm at the Subaru place. I'm selling Subarus like a mother. And one of the guys that got fired, he got fired for something. He came back. And I go, what the fuck you been? He goes, I got fired. And he had like a black eye. And I go, what's the black eye from? And he goes, it's a long story. I go, we got nothing but time. And he goes, listen to what happened. He goes, I got a DUI. I crashed against a tree. And when they brought me to the hospital, the pharmacy door was open. So he broke into the pharmacy. He took all the pills and cocaine. He jumped out a window. And they caught him like 2 days later.
Wow.
So now he's going to do time. So he goes, I'm staying with this guy, and he's got 2 kilos of coke. I'm going to steal it from him, and so you can help me sell it. And then I'm going to move to Arizona, so I don't have to do this time. And I'm like, I'm living in Boulder. It's fun. I got a nice girlfriend. You know, I got a dog. I got a job. But my friends are in New York City.
Getting it in.
Getting it on.
Yeah.
They're coming to the city on the weekends. They're going to hunt the mountain on the weekends to ski and snort. They were telling me they threw a bag of coke out on a Friday, and when they came back, all the deer were dead on Sunday. You know, it was like, I'm out here with these fucking yokels skiing, trying to be a fucking American. And my friends are lighting their balls on fire. Their parents are calling me, have you heard from my son? I'm like, no. My friends' parents are calling me in Colorado going, I haven't seen Anthony in a week. He went out to get a pack of cigarettes. He's never come back. I'm like, dog, they're in Hunt the Mountain, getting it on. So I was like, you know what? This girl is great, but she's not going to be my wife. I'm going to help this dude do it. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to help him. I'm going to rob him.
You're going to rob the guy who asked you.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a lunatic,
because
Joey.
he couldn't, there was no way he could do nothing.
Okay.
So I called my crazy friend here, and he couldn't make it out. He was fucking unloading planes somewhere in Colombia. I called one of my crazy friends here. So I had to go to a guy that I worked with at an auto body shop before I sold cars. He was like a biker. You know, he had everything. This is why I don't like modern times. He had everything. He had the tattoo, the sunglasses, the Harley bicycle, anything to be cool. The pit bull, tinted windows, the loud stereo. He had everything to be cool. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? I got to use somebody. I can't take this guy down by myself. So I asked him, and he had a problem. He used to go to strip clubs. He was in love with a stripper. Right? But I mean, in love with a stripper. And she left her husband, but she wouldn't, she danced at a nude club, but she couldn't sleep with my friend Steve until she got a divorce. So she wanted him to pay 20 grand for the divorce. So this guy wanted the pussy, so that was his motivation. In fact, she moved into his house and he had to sleep on the couch. When she slept on the bed by herself.
Wow.
She had no intention of fucking this retard.
She just wanted that divorce
She just wanted that divorce money.
Oh, my God.
Played.
She's like, I'm a Catholic. I can't sleep with a man if I'm still married. And he's like, well, you dance naked every night and put your asshole in people's faces. What's the fucking difference, you know?
Wow.
So that was our connection.
So this is the guy that you're basically bringing on to go rob this dude.
Yeah.
And you already know he's a goofy.
I knew it was a goofy, but in my cocaine mind, just what I had going on, I wanted to believe this was going to work.
Yeah.
And then comes D-Day. In fact, I just got a root canal on Saturday on the tooth that the dentist fixed that morning before I kidnapped him, because I had a dental appointment that morning. The dentist even said, I go, last time I worked on this tooth was November 18th, 87. He's like, that's interesting. How did you remember that? I go, that's the day I kidnapped the guy. He just kept drilling. So I went to the dentist. And I remember calling him and going, we'll be over there with the money, you know, to buy the 2 kilos from you. He was going to be my partner. I was a middleman. He was going to buy the coke from Kent, all right? So I was the middleman. I was going to bring him over there. They were going to sample it, and then we're going to go back to Steve's house, and Steve was going to give him the money, and we're going to rob the coke. We weren't going to give him any money. We're going to put him on a bus to Arizona, give him like 10 grand and get the fuck out.
Oh, you were going to give him a couple bucks?
Yeah. It wasn't going to be a complete robbery with kicking and all of that stuff. It was just going to be a simple thing. Bella wasn't a heavy, I wasn't a heavy, and Steve wasn't a heavy. Steve got so greedy, he fucked it up. At the intro, he pulled out the guns.
Wow.
Okay, so real quick, break down the setup. Steve is, which one is the
Before we
Hell's
do
Angel?
a setup,
Yeah.
Can I slip and
Go,
pee
Pete,
again?
go. All right, guys, let's take a break for a second because you got to replace your posters. Look at any poster that's on your wall. It's ripped, torn, tattered, looks horrible.
Childish.
It is childish. It is absolutely childish. And you know what? You need to grow the fuck up, and Displate is gonna help you do that, okay? Displate is a one-of-a-kind metal poster designed to capture your unique passions. It's sturdy, magnet-mounted, and it lasts a lifetime. Displate allows you to customize, collect, and rearrange them at will. Displate also has both branded and artistic artwork. They have over 1 million designs available, including official designs from brands like Marvel, DC, and the NBA, plenty of video games, tons of movies and music, you name it, they have it. I mean, look, you need that new Guardians of the Galaxy poster. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was absolutely fantastic. Maybe you want to put the motherfucking boxing GOAT Floyd Mayweather on your wall. All right, Displate created a unique, easy, safe magnet mounting system that only takes 20 seconds. No need for drilling on your walls, nothing. You're renting an apartment, you don't have to worry about repainting and losing your fucking deposit and all these other things. Yeah, just put the Displate posters up. Displate delivers its product worldwide in only 4 to 5 business days. It's a perfect alternative for standard paper posters that often get damaged and it doesn't leave marks on the wall. So go to displate.com/flagrant or use the code flagrant at the checkout to get 20% off for 1 to 2 Displates or 30% off for 3 and more Displates. Now let's get back to the show. Okay, set this robbery up for us. You have the Hell's
I didn't know
Angel.
how much time I had, so I didn't want to get into something that
Oh,
was...
you got all the time in the world.
okay.
We got all day, baby.
Okay, so you have, who's the Hell's Angel? What's his name?
His name was Steve.
Okay,
he
so
wasn't the
you
Hells
have Steve.
Angels. He was like
He
a fucking...
wannabe.
Yeah.
Okay, and then who's the mark?
Kent.
Kent. Okay, so you and Steve go to meet up with Kent, and then break it down. So the idea is...
I go to the dentist office. This is the whole story. I go to the dentist office. I go home. I call Kent. It was supposed to go down at 1 o'clock. It's about 11 o'clock now. I call Kent, and he tells me, come pick me up. So I go to his house. And the weird thing was when I went to his house, I noticed it was across the street from the halfway house. There was a halfway house in Bold. And I looked at it, I go, that's fucking weird. He lives across the street from the halfway house. So I went upstairs. He's like, you want to do a line of coke before we go? I go, yeah. He goes, we'll go over there. I'll give him a sample. He'll give me the money, and then I'll come back here and get the coke, and we'll all disperse. You give him back the coke, and well, that's it. Okay. So when I'm there, he shows me a grinder. He was doing coke out of a grinder. The grinder was filled with coke, and there was an ounce of coke in a baggie in the drawer. And he also showed me where there was $2,000. He goes, I got $2,000 here. Okay, so, and I go, where's the coke? And he goes, in the ceiling. It was in one of those drop ceilings that you slide up. Okay. So when I get there, he shows me everything. And we do a couple lines. Then I get in the car and I drive him to where we're, like a 7-minute drive. We get to the house. As soon as we walk in, this motherfucker pulls his guns out. The deal was, let's get everything going. When you go back to get the coke, that's when you rob us both.
Yeah.
That's when I pull a
You're
gun.
innocent.
Even if you're with him, I'm going to rob you. I'm going to smack you.
Yeah.
Just so he'll never say, well, how did he know?
Yeah.
He fucking smacked me.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought I was... So when I walked in there, he pulled guns on both of us. And then he pulls the gun out and goes, Joey, tie him up. And I'm like, you stupid motherfucker. So I'm like, what the fuck? So now we got this kid, and the kid's like, Joey, what the fuck? I put him in the room. I fucking go out and talk to him. I go over there. I didn't tell him what a coke was. I told him that there was shit over there. I wanted to see what he was going to come back with. Sure enough, he played into it. He came back. He said there was only $200 in an 8-ball. But his mother was a big-time realtor, and we were in one of her houses.
Hold on, did everybody just get that?
Wow.
You know there's 2,000. He tells what is the guy's name, Steve? Steve to go about he doesn't tell him where the coke is, the 2,000 and then the ounce. He goes, there was only 200. So he's trying to get over on you, that son of a bitch.
So now, when he comes back, he goes, there was only 200, maybe like an 8-ball. So I go, really? So he's like, what are we going to do? Where is it? And I don't know, but I'll tell you what. I go, I got to go. I go, you just tried to fuck with me. No, I didn't. I'm telling you there was more. So we got into a little argument. He goes to me, if you leave, I'm going to shoot you. And I knew this guy was going to shoot me. I just knew. I go, I've never been wrong with that kind of stuff about judging a man like that. I was
mean, if you're wrong once,
I was around savages.
Yeah.
I know if this guy's going to shoot me or not.
Yeah.
And as I walk to the car, he don't shoot me. And I go outside, and I got a gun under my tire that I had from my Aspen days. I had a beautiful 9mm I wasn't giving up. So right there, I was like, you know what, man? I've always wanted to shoot a motherfucker in the leg. Like, I've always wanted to shoot a motherfucker in the leg, like just to see their reaction and the whole thing. And I was like...
Usually out.
And I was ready to shoot, and I go, you know what, man? I'm just going to get the fuck out of here. And I got in the car, and I went back to Vela's apartment. And I fucking kicked the door down.
Vela's?
The kid that was the mark.
Oh, Steve.
Steve was the thief.
Ken. Sorry, Ken.
So
Ken,
Vela's the mark.
Yeah.
So I said, fuck this. I'm going to go back and get the coke. He said he didn't get it. I knew exactly where the coke was. So I ran back, fucking walked past the doorman. The doorman's like, hey. I go, I was just here. And I basically went upstairs with no keys, and I kicked that fucking door down like a gorilla. And then I jumped up, and I ripped that fucking ceiling down because it was a drop ceiling, so you could just tear it down. I fucking ripped it down, heart's beating, my hands are bleeding from fucking pulling it down, and 2 bundles landed in the middle, wrapped with Colombian newspaper. I took those motherfuckers, and I ran the fuck out of there. And across from the halfway house, there was a newspaper thing where you put a quarter in, open it, and take the newspaper out. Guys, look underneath. Whenever you see those, look underneath. In the 80s, that's how we used to drop off coke. There's a bottom compartment in there that you never look at. So I put the kilos of coke there because I thought the cops were on me, and I called my brother. He went over there, picked up the kilos, and took them to Aspen.
Wow.
I kept like maybe an ounce for the night because I wanted to party, see what the fuck was going on. Then that night, 8 o'clock, they knock on my door. Tidwell knocks on my door again. He's got Vel in the trunk of a car. And he goes, what am I going to do with him? I go, I don't know. Figure it the fuck out. Not my problem anymore. You tried to rob me. Get the fuck out of here. And he's like, I need that $20,000 for my girlfriend. She needs a divorce. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. He goes, I got another guy. There's a guy that's got a pound of hash. Let's go rob him. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I went to a bar, had a couple drinks, snorted some coke, and went home, not thinking anything. And the next morning, I'm sleeping on the couch, and the guy knocks on my door, and he goes, bro, the dealership is surrounded by cops. They're coming over here to get you. Get the fuck out of here. One of the lot guys. And I got I didn't have a car then. I went across the street and called my girlfriend and said, listen, the cops are looking for me. Blah, 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 blah. And as I'm across the fucking street, I'm looking at the cops breaking into my house.
Oh, wow.
So I'm looking at this shit.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. And after about 20 minutes, I go, holy shit, I forgot my weed. Right? I'm like, God damn it.
They got the weed.
I forgot my fucking weed. And now they only left the cop outside in front of my house to watch. So I went back.
No.
And I went to the backyard to get, because I had some chocolate Thai weed that was sent to me from here. My friends used to send me chocolate Thai weed.
So while the cops are in your fucking
There's
apartment,
only one cop outside now. He's just waiting for me to
you
come back.
sneak into your
Into my
fucking
house to
from
get
the
the
back.
fucking ounce of coke, to get my
the
little
Thai
bag
weed.
of reefer. Yep.
Did you get it?
Fuck yeah. And the
got out?
pipe and my lighter.
The lighter.
Fuck yeah. 'Cause I had it all in a little bag. You know, you have one of those little purple bags. You got your weed, your lighter.
Okay.
And then I hid out at my girlfriend's for 2 days, and I thought about it. I fucked with them a little bit. The story had come out in the paper that this guy had gotten kidnapped and shit, but they were still looking for another suspect on the loose. They didn't give my name. So I waited for 2 days. I'll never forget, I went to the movie. I went to the video store, and there were brand new movies. Lethal Weapon was a new release, and there was Above the Law with Steven Seagal. And I watched them, and I'm like, you know what, man? They got America's Most Wanted. I'm never going to get away with this. So now it was Thursday, and I go, I need more weed. So I got to go into Boulder anyway and get weed. I might as well call these cops and see what they're looking for me for. So I went down to Boulder. I got my bag of weed. I got my 2 videos. And there was a Kmart and an Albertsons. And they were across the street from one another. So I called Boulder police from Albertsons, or from Kmart. And I'm like, hey, this is Jose Diaz. You guys are looking for me. And they're like, we got to put you on hold. They were tracing me. So I kept hanging up on them. And they're like going, why are you hanging up? I go, because I don't want to be put on hold. This is Joe Diaz. I want to talk to the detective in charge of my case. They're like, we're going to put you on hold. 10 seconds, I'd hang up. Then finally, the detective answered. And he goes, we just want to talk to you. Where are you? And I go, I'm at Albertsons. But I was really at Kmart.
Yeah.
And he goes, we just want to talk to you. I go, okay, I'll be at Albertsons. I hung up the phone and I went back to my car. I'm sitting there rolling the joint, and I see a SWAT truck come in with other Boulder police. And I'm like, they're not looking to talk to me. They're looking to fucking kill me. And I'm like, fuck this. I told my girlfriend what I saw. She goes, just turn yourself in. I'm like, fuck. That means I'm going to miss the wedding. And she goes, what wedding? I go, Don Johnson is marrying Sheena Easton tonight on Miami Vice. I've been waiting all year for this fucking wedding. I hate weddings. But Don Johnson's getting married to Sheena Easton. I got to catch this tonight.
Oh, my God.
And listen, guys, in my retarded mind, this is how fucked up drugs are. In my retarded mind, I remember having her drop me off at the police station next morning and me going to her, here's $30, get Chinese food. I'll be home. I should be out of here by an hour. I'm just going to walk in there and tell these cops whatever, some fucking story, and I'll be home in an hour. And I'll never forget walking upstairs. They told me to ring a buzzer. Who is it? Jose Diaz. They go, buzz me. And I went in, dog. When I went in, I was bum rushed. All I heard was, I had cops all over me. Get on the floor, get on the floor, get on the floor. You're being charged with kidnapping 1, kidnapping 2. Aggravated robbery, accessory to a felony, second-degree burglary, and fucking crime of violence. My bail was $50,000 fucking dollars. I'm like, what are you motherfuckers talking? And that's when I'm like, I'm doing your job. You fucking degenerates. What the fuck? So they talked to me for a while. They asked me questions. I wouldn't say shit. I'm like, listen, man, he was selling something. I don't know what happened, blah, blah, blah. But then I ended up, let me tell you what really happened. That fucking idiot got caught, Steve, got caught with Kent in the trunk. He got caught driving without his headlights on.
What an idiot.
Wow.
That's how I got pulled. That's how I ended up in this. But I learned a lesson. What a tangled web we weave when we tangle to deceive. This was that all over again. This was this. It just didn't stop, you know. And then I turned myself in. I had this fucking bail. They thought, and then a fucking Cuban kid was going to the University of Colorado, and his car was found splattered with blood. And they looked in his police records. They looked in his records, and they realized the kid was going to Miami on the weekends and selling coke. They found his car with they never found his body again, but his car was blood splattered. So they were thinking it was me. There was another guy. Shit. So anybody who got tied into a drug rip, now they were looking at me. There was another dude that was snorting coke one night, and the cops knocked on his door, and he jumped off the fucking balcony and broke both his legs. Somebody went to rob him. He thought it was the cops, but it was really 2 thieves. So now they were questioning me about that shit. It was a fucking nightmare. Like 1 minute I was fucking, just in trouble for one thing. Now they're looking at me for fucking 30 things. And when I went to the bail hearing, they're like, he's part of a Cuban crime culture. Syndicate, and I'm like, fuck. I thought I was fucking dead, Andrew Schulz.
Why didn't you go to Aspen? Why'd you turn yourself in?
Because
you had the 2 keys.
Bro, you're going to run the rest of your fucking life.
You don't want to run.
And he didn't think the charges would be that bad because he didn't know he kidnapped you.
You're going to run the rest of your fucking life. Do you have any idea? I read an article when I was a kid about a guy who bit a girl at a wedding, at a dance.
Yeah.
Her and her boyfriend tried to beat him up, and he bit the girl, and something happened. This guy lived a fucking, that was the only, he never even got a jaywalking ticket for 40 years. He got a heart attack. He got taken to the hospital. They fingerprinted him. And they figured that was the guy from fucking his childhood. And now the guy's got to go to jail when he's 50, when he's lived an exemplary life, except that mistake he made. I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, you didn't want to feel chased your whole life.
I was going to turn myself in and just deal with it.
Yeah.
Now it's to get out of there, and then I'll make the decision. Just turn yourself in and then see what they're holding on to, and then you make your decision. So I sat there for a few weeks. I had my girlfriend. Her parents hated me, but he was a straight up gangster, the dude.
What, the pops?
Her father was a lieutenant colonel in the fucking army and shit, career guy, had ties to the CIA. Didn't really like me, but when I got arrested, my girlfriend told him what happened. And he goes, you know what? I'll go talk to him. And he came in for a guy I never thought liked me. We ended up having a pretty good conversation. He asked me a few questions.
And were you honest with him about what happened?
Very honest, because I learned early on, if you do something and somebody's looking to help you, and I tell people this all the time, I love you to death, Andrew. I'll do anything for you. And if you guys don't understand what I mean by that, I'll do anything for you. But do me a fucking favor. When you tell me who did it to you, make sure you don't miss a detail.
Yeah, because you're bringing me into this web now.
Just don't miss a fucking detail. Tell me the truth. I don't give a fuck what you did, but if we're right here, we're going to go back in there. That's the type of person I am. I don't care. Just don't miss. I don't care if you murder somebody.
So you
Don't
opened
miss a
up
detail.
completely to the pops.
To the pops. And he was asking me questions, and he was like, I'm going to get you out of here. So then he wrote some letters, and within like a week, I got out. My bail went from $50,000 to like $3,000. And then, you know, I started talking to him more and more, and I started getting my life together little by little, and I got a job at Hertz as a manager trainee. Fucking like 40 grand a year to start. Some guy I knew hooked me up with it. And the guy liked me so much, he called me into his office one day, and he goes, listen, I know what you're going through, so I put a call in for you. I got you a job in Hertz in Panama. They'll change your name, they'll give you an ID, and you could be a manager down there.
Whoa. Wow.
And I was like, fucking Panama with Noriega? Fuck yeah. And I'm like, again, then we're back in the same fucking boat. You know, someday you're gonna do well, and this is gonna come back to bite you in the fucking ass, you know? And I just did everything I could to stay out of there. I got into the University of Colorado. I mean, I got into the university.
Yeah.
Like not like continuing ed. Like they told me I had too many credits that I needed to transfer. So it was sad because I tried to get in there as Joey Diaz, but they're like, no can do. But
Jose Diaz.
if your name was Jose Diaz,
we got some room.
We'll fucking put feathers in your asshole every day. Because we ain't got enough brothers and Cubans up in this motherfucker. That's why if you got a kid that needs to go to college and you ain't got the money, just have him marry a Mexican and send him to the University of Montana. mucho pesos, you understand me?
And whatever happened with Kent, the guy that got tied up?
Kent, the guy that got tied up, I'm in close contact with him now.
Really?
Yeah, I apologized to him on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
About 15 years. No, for years I kept calling him. Like I got his, listen, when I got out of jail and I was in the halfway house one night, I went to a bar to get some Coke and Kent was there. And he goes, what are you doing out? And I go, Kent, come on, bro. You got anything? And he goes, yeah. What do you need? I go, grab a Coke. And as he's weighing it in the bathroom, he looks at me and goes, the last time I sold you Coke, you kidnapped me. And we're talking. I'm like, Kent, I'm sorry. I was having a bad day. And we talked. I bought him a fucking drink at the bar. We chit-chatted. Everything was beautiful. And then I disappeared. I got into comedy or whatever. 10 years later, he's on Facebook. So I started hitting him on Facebook. And I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? You know, fuck you. I realized what you did. You're a scumbag. This went on for like 2 years. And then I said, fuck it, I'm not going to hit him a lot. I'm just going to hit him on the anniversary.
Of the arrest?
Of the kidnapping. So every November 18th, I would go, Kent, what's going on? Go fuck yourself. Then I would go on Twitter and go, 22 years ago today, I kidnapped Kent Vella. He still won't talk to me. This went on for about 3 years. And then one time he gave me his number, and I called him, and he's like, I don't know if I should talk to you, blah, 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 blah. Oh, Kent, it was a long time ago, blah, blah. And I got him to agree to call into the podcast, and I apologized to him. And then after that, I kept like, Kent, I'm going to be in Tempe. Come to the show. Fuck you. You know,
He
maybe.
moved to Arizona. He was serious about that.
He was serious. So about 3 times into it,
He actually showed up.
he showed up. I went to Tucson, though. He lives in Tucson. So I went to Tucson. He came to the show. I posted it. You can find it. After 33 years, I kidnapped this guy 33 years ago. Now we're friends. I send him money from time to time. He had problems with his mom. I try to take care of him with his mom. Now he's moving up to New Mexico, Taos, New Mexico.
What happened to Steve and what happened to the 2 keys?
The 2 keys I sold. Steve ended up ratting me out. He ended up getting, because when he got arrested, he was on parole. And he got sentenced to 10 years.
Yeah, because he had the body in the trunk.
I got sentenced to 4. I was really supposed to get sentenced to 6. But I wrote so many letters. My friends from grammar school, Jersey, got all these people to write letters. And again, if you ever get in trouble, if a judge has political aspirations, each of us know 250 people. When you die, God forbid, they're going to get you 250 mass cards. Each of us know 250 people. So if you ever get in trouble, write a letter to the judge, because that's 250 votes. So the more letters you write that judge, the more votes mean. Do you follow me? That's why whenever I got in trouble, I wrote a letter to the judge. When I got out of prison, I wrote a letter to that judge every month. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm detailing cars. I'm still broke. I'm still an idiot, but I'm giving it a try. You know, I just got into comedy. I wrote him letters. I got into stand-up comedy. I suck, but I'm going to try it. And then I went up in front of him 10 years later for something else, and he fucking went in my direction because I kept in touch with him. He knew the truth.
Built a relationship.
I built a relationship with the guy. So whenever you get in trouble, anything like that, you got to write letters to a judge and explain your situation and tell him what you're feeling, and most importantly, tell him what your intentions are with life. Even though I was snorting coke and I was robbing, well, when I got out of prison, I wasn't robbing at that. You know, I already knew what level of criminal I wanted to be at. For me to stay out and do comedy, I could still be a little criminal from time to time, but there's levels.
Yeah.
Like I could go into a Kmart, walk in and take like a fucking, those mats for your car.
Yeah.
Right? And you could just pick them up, walk them right to the return and go, my mother got me these, but I got a pair. And without a receipt, they give you $100 plus tax.
Wow.
Bro,
Like you could always do that shit. That's how I got.
That was the hustle I used to see.
That's what I did on the road. When I was on the road, you don't have money for gas. You walk into a Kmart, pick up a fucking fishing rod and go, hi, my mother bought me this, but I can't use it. You have a receipt? Not really.
So you know how Kmart has the super long receipts? CVS has them as well?
Yes.
So if there's ever a trash, this is how you know crackheads are brilliant. So there was a trash can right outside the Kmart on Astor Place in Lafayette Street in New York. And the crackheads would wait for people to leave the Kmart with that long-ass receipt, and they'd throw it right in the garbage right when they leave. And they would take that receipt, and they'd look at the itemized receipt, and they walk right back in that fucking Kmart and pick up every single item and return every single item and get the cash for it. It was like they were asking to get robbed.
I saw that on the HBO doc.
HBO did a good job of it. It was
wow.
It was that
Kmart.
Place one too. Yeah.
Dog, I remember one day, it was like the 29th. I needed $400 for rent money.
Yeah.
$400. That's all I paid my rent in Boulder. I was a starving comic.
Yeah.
That's it. 1995, 96 maybe. And I see some guy pushing out lumber. I'm like, it was a lawnmower.
Okay.
And one of those trucks, like he had some guy pushing him. He's like, what are you gonna mow with this? And sure enough, I'm hungry, I need money, and I see the receipt just fly off the box.
Got him.
I go, holy shit.
Got him.
I run in to the Boulder Kmart, and I go for the thing, and I go, excuse me, sir, where's the C695? And he goes, we're all sold out of those. I'm like, fuck. Damn. Oop, there's another one in Longmont, Colorado. I got my car, went out to Longmont, and there it was. Picked it up, put the receipt on it. Guy gave me $400 plus tax. I had my rent and a gram of blow. You know what I'm saying? I remember one Christmas, I went into fucking, what's that? The toy chain that went on.
Toys R Us.
Toys R Us. They used to give you Jeffrey money.
Jeffrey money, yeah.
I would walk in there. I would walk in there and take one thing. I remember I ended up leaving there with a bicycle for my daughter one time. I returned like a game of Monopoly.
Yeah.
And kept going back and returning it. And I had so many credits, I just like, give me a bicycle. And they gave me a bicycle. My daughter had a bicycle at the fucking house.